Good morning and welcome to the very first thought-provoking change of 2023. We hope you had an amazing new year and you're ready to basically kick ass in the new year and take names and accomplish every goal that you set out for. For those of you that are watching the replay, make sure to leave comments because we like to learn and grow with you as well. So this morning, we are going to be talking about inspiration or desperation. What are you in for in 2023? Are you living a life that is inspired by your dreams, your goals, and your visions? Or are you operating in a state of desperation? Are you going for what you want to accomplish out of the love for what you are doing? Or are you going after things in desperation just to fill in the blank for you? You got to stay up on your bills. You got to just have something to do. What does it mean for you? To live an inspired life is just untouchable. It really is. To go after those things that get your soul going, it changes your life. A lot of you know my story. I have a 20-year history with a service-based business, and just quite frankly, I lost the passion. I lost the drive for it. And I started looking at my life, my skills, what I bring to the table, and I love to inspire other people to level up. You know, in 20 years of being in business for myself, there were times that I hit a plateau. There were times that I felt stagnant and just did not know how to move, did not know what to do. And that is where I love to come in and impact people's lives now, is taking them from the level they're at now and helping them level up to where they should be. It is all about the inspiration and the love of doing what you're doing. You know, chasing money is just not fun. I did that for many, many years, just chasing the money. Hey there, little kiddo. I chased the money for quite a while, and it was fun in the sense that I was chasing money and chasing a lot of it. And it opened up things in my life that I was able to provide. You know, one of my biggest goals in life is to make memories and make them count. And I loved doing that, and I still love doing that. But here's the thing. When you are able to impact other people's lives as well, it brings so much more joy and fulfillment, at least for me. Obviously, I can't speak for everybody, but living a life of fulfillment far outdoes living a life of wealth and riches. However, I will say this. I believe we live in an and world, not an either or world. So you don't have to look and say, do I want to, in this example, do I want to make money or do I want to inspire? Yes. You can do both. You can do both and love every step of the journey, every step of the moment. And the beauty to it is you do not have to choose. Now, there is also the flip side of living in desperation. What happens in an instance, say you're struggling to pay bills? What happens in an instance where you must go to a job you hate day in and day out? I see some smiles coming up on the screen, so kind of have a feeling that I've hit some nerves with some people. But here's the thing. Are there times where we must do things that we don't like for a period of time? Sure. Sure. The goal is to uncomplicate your life, and the goal is to focus on what brings you joy. Focus on what brings you passion. Focus on where you can touch, inspire, train, and transform others. Now that can look different in so many different ways. I know on this call, we have several coaches, we have several mentors. There are other ways to touch, train, and inspire people. I know for one, my father goes to homeless shelters and helps feed people and clothe people. That's inspiring. Helping all those who cannot help themselves or those that can help themselves. The beauty to this is just pouring into others' lives. Living a life and doing a job and having a passion that outdoes you. When it's bigger than you, there's more to strive for. Let us hear your thoughts and your comments down below on what inspires you to keep going. What inspires you to get to that next level of your life, whatever that looks like? Or are you living in desperation? So many people put out their New Year's resolutions at the end of each year to start the next year. For me, I'm not a New Year's resolution type person. The only thing that I do New Year's related is set a monetary goal of what I want to make for that year. And the only reason I do that is because of these pesky people called the Internal Revenue Service. So we all kind of go based off of their timeline, unfortunately. I'm just the type of person that I see something that needs to be fixed. I see something that I want to fix. I'm not waiting until January 1st to start it. Start it now. Start it right now. There is no point in putting off any changes in your life that you know need to happen. There's multiple ways to do this. Of course, one of the ways that I fully endorse and support is to hire a mentor, to hire a coach to help you get to that next level. Find an accountability partner to help get you there. You know, I was talking with someone just yesterday, and they said that one of their big challenges in life is putting out content in video form, being live in front of someone and talking in front of someone. And I encourage them, I'm just like, put it out. Put it out. You know, you can make changes later. And of course, I understand that what we put out is a direct reflection of who we are. So yes, you want it to be great. You want it to be perfect. We all do. However, when you wait until it's perfect, you'll never put it out. It will never get there because we'll never be perfect. So I'm real curious to see from some of you guys and hear from you guys how you define what your inspiration is versus if you're operating in a state of desperation. And let's talk about how to get out of a desperate state that you may be in. So who first wants to go and tell about inspiration or desperation and how you see that? Good morning, Patty. Welcome. Glad you could join us. I'm going to pick on somebody and call somebody out first so they can go live on video. JT, your life, is it inspiration?
I felt it coming.
Is it inspiration or desperation?
I mean, I'd like to think I'm functioning off of inspiration. The reason I say that is because I'm focused on what I enjoy doing and what I love to do every day versus like making money. You know what I mean? I'm working on incorporating my passion and my income producing activity. So that's why I believe I'm living in inspiration versus desperation. But I have lived in desperation where just like you, I was just chasing money around and it becomes very pointless eventually.
How did you graduate from the state of desperation? How did you get out of this is just pure desperation and I'm ready to move to something more? How did you break free from that?
I think when I started having money and just still not being happy, I started to feel like the money didn't really matter. I would rather be happy and have a little less money sometimes than to have more money and be unhappy, you know?
And again, I'll back up to what I said earlier. You can have both. With the way that was presented, it was like it's a choice. Either I'm happy or with no money, or
I think
I have money
I
and I'm
think
not happy.
I think at the time when I was experiencing it, it was the choice.
Awesome. I understand. I understand. We have one of the premier sports coaches on the line with us now, Patty Lou. Do you operate in inspiration or desperation? And I know the answer to this one before you even say it.
Yes, is inspiration. Inspiration is what I need to get stuff done. And when I see that I can inspire athletes to put on their best performance consistently by using sports psychology and performance coaching, it keeps me going because that's what brings me the most joy.
That's awesome. Love that. Now, here's somebody that I met just recently on a virtual coffee. And we related a lot in parenting is one of the things we related a lot in. Mama Mo, are you inspired or desperate?
I think I'm going to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in here. I'm a little bit of both. And I think that you need a little bit of both. You have to be inspired, but there has to be a mode of desperation in there too, because we don't move unless there's a little bit of desperation. Inspiration for me will only get me so far because there are days where I don't feel like it, but I know that there's that immediate desperation where if I don't show up, then things don't get done. So I think that there has to be a little bit of a balance of both. I'm definitely inspired. I want to go out there. I want to inspire. I want to show up. I love what I do. And then there's those days too, where it's like, there's stuff that needs to be done that I don't want to do, but there's, like you were talking about, the IRS. I hate doing taxes. You know, I have a company, a very successful, you know, landscaping and snow removal company that I don't like to do, but it's the source of income that also supports the rest of my other things that I do. And so I think that there has to be a little bit of both. I don't think that we can live consistently in a state of inspiration, but there has to be a little bit of desperation. I know for me, if I don't show up, then my clients can't be inspired. You know what I mean? There has to be that little bit of desperation to reach to the next level, to reach to those goals that we have for ourselves and for other people. So that's just my opinion. I live in a little bit of both because I don't always feel inspired. I know that there's things that I need to do, and that if I don't do them, then they're not going to get done. And that's where the desperation comes from.
I love that. I was looking to see how long it would take somebody to say, we do need a sense of desperation in order to accomplish. Absolutely. Totally agree. Dad, what about you? Rick Ellis?
Hi.
Good morning.
Am I on where I need to be on the
Yeah, you're
screen?
good. You're good.
Okay. Well, I totally agree with the young lady that just spoke. I think levels of desperation create levels of inspiration. In that, if we go ahead and do the things that we may feel desperate about, and knowing that this is not the end, no matter what we're doing, this is not the end of life. There is more for us. It can help us. It can help us be desperation in the level that it inspires you to do something is good. A desperation in the level that it makes you feel unable, inadequate, where you can't go get things done because you're just so desperate. So many things are caving in on you. That's never good. Desperation from the standpoint of fear, desperation from the standpoint of I've got to do this. I don't want to do this. I hate doing this. I'm not going to do this. when we let that kind of desperation build up on us, we won't get anything done, because that creates depression, and depression is a very real circumstance in life. Without taking control of the desperation, going ahead and getting things done, as she was saying, you have to do what you have to do to provide for your family, provide for your lifestyle. But that can bring inspiration if we don't have to understand, we don't have to like where we're at in every situation, but we do need to be thankful for the fact that we are in this situation. There's a lot of people that don't make it through. We just saw a time with COVID. So many people were buried. A lot of death. But as you mentioned earlier, we go to homeless shelters twice a month, every month, and feed the people, take them clothing and things like that. I'm seeing many people every other week that are they've lost everything. They're doing without. They're very desperate. But then to see them come and be filled with food and filled with clothing, and just have people there that genuinely care about them, that brings me great joy to know that we can give something to somebody that has nothing. Doesn't make you any money, so it doesn't provide from that standpoint. But what it does do is it fills a need that I have to reach out to others that have need. The great things that y'all are doing with mentoring, with helping other people, we all have needs. We all have needs, and I thank God for each and every one of you for what you're doing to reach out, because people, we need each other. The minute that we feel that we're better than anybody, the minute that we feel that we're the ones that have all the answers, you can't do that. You can't be in that kind of attitude and yet mentor other people. You have to care about the other people. Your heart has to be for them. You want them to succeed. You want them to receive and to abound on this earth, and to give out and give of themselves. But in the work that you guys are doing, we all have a different work. We all have a different direction. We all have, and one is not any better than any other, as long as we're doing what we need to be doing.
That's it. Hey, I see somebody that appears to be walking nonstop. Here's a man that's running toward his goals. Mr. Creative Concepts himself. You look like you're moving nonstop. What's going on? Are you desperate?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, dude, I'm desperate to lose the belly. Oh man, so 2022 was a good year, man. I think most of us on here did some really cool things, right? A lot of us are cut from the same cloth, mindset, purpose, right? And what we're working towards. It seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, a lot of people on here are coaches, consultants, right? Advisors in some capacity, small business owners.
Correct.
Right. And I'm pretty sure we have a variety of people on here from all walks of life, all professions, all income levels, right? From 6 figures all the way up to 9 figures. I won't go into anybody's private affairs, but I know most of the people on this call, and I know most of us are really heart-centered, right? Empaths and givers. So, going into 2023, I feel like one thing I learned in 2007, and I'll share this because I never really speak on it. I remember when I was at basic combat training, you think it's hell, right? Because you physically get hurt, you emotionally get hurt, right? But they're breaking you down intentionally to build you up outside of your own character, to care about the person on the left and the person on the right more than yourself, right? Because your intent is to become a soldier, to know how to defend yourself, to know how to defend your country. Fast forward, I remember being at AIT, and I remember being in formation. This is winter of 2007. And I remember getting deployment orders before I even graduated AIT. I was like one of a few guys. And it's kind of ironic because I come from a family of 2 grandfathers that served, combat vets, and a father that served over 20 years, all active duty Army. And I always told myself when I was younger, being born into it as an Army brat, that I would never serve, that I would never do this because they don't make any money. As a child, you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know, right? You're growing up, you're learning what core values are, what loyalty is, what integrity is, what selfless service is. A lot of what Rich talked about was amazing stuff and really resonates with me because, Jonathan helped me, Joseph, Dean, a lot of us helped when the hurricane hit in October, where I live in Southwest Florida, and we all went out, right, to help people, to give food, to give water, to give gas, to donate money, and directly and indirectly, everybody works as a team, right? So Jonathan's purpose of this call, for the ones that know and the ones that don't know, is to bring people together, obviously to pour into your cup, right? So that you have something to drive you, to help you, to guide you, not just today, but till next week, to the following Monday. And I feel like everybody needs this, right? And that's why I'm here. Jonathan can attest. I don't think I've missed one, Jonathan, since we started this thing.
Right.
And it's really cool because, wherever you're at, schedule wise, wherever you're at, time wise, right? They call it Money Mondays. A lot of us in business do, right? We have to go after our week. We have to get on our calls, do our Zooms, do our face-to-face meetings, family, kids, all the above. But if you're starting off your week right, getting on calls like this, right, and you have a mentor, you have a coach, right, like Jonathan mentioned, Jonathan's pouring into other people. It's also pouring into himself. He invested in building a team. He invested in building himself so he could be present, he could be here, right, to then pass it forward and pay it forward to everybody on the call. So big ups to Jonathan. Not a lot of people come on here to I'm on the treadmill, man, doing 3 miles. This is a big deal for me. So I just hit the 3 mile mark. I haven't done 3 miles in probably 3 years. But yeah, I want to give you kudos. And, I just wanted to kind of be a little heart-centered and a little bit unconventional with my answer and use a story, because a lot of us resonate with stories. Pretty much all of us do, right?
Right.
So if you're not out there sharing your story, telling your story, even if it's an Instagram live today for 5 minutes about who you are, what you do, and the value that you provide to the world, you're doing yourself a disservice. Doesn't matter if one person watches or thousands of people watch. Some of us have brands, some of us don't, but everybody can start. And so big ups to Jonathan for spending the last 6 months, building, really starting, Jonathan, I would say probably in June, right? And this journey's been, you've been building
June or July, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's been 6, almost 7 months building brick by brick. And, if I was looking to get on calls, I would definitely show back up. So I just wanted to plug you, man, and praise you and say good job for doing this. Great job for building, man, because it's not easy, but nothing good.
Not easy.
Nothing good that is fruitful is easy, and we all know that. So
that's right.
Yeah, I just want to pour that into people because, we had last year, I had multiple people that were in this same dynamic as a coach, consultant, or a small business owner that, were stuck on the rock, sitting on their hands for different reasons. We talk about desperation, we talk about inspiration. And the reason that they were inspired was because they knew they had a talent and skill set. They knew they had a gift. They knew they had an amazing product or a service. Some of you have a product or a service and a skill set that you may not be familiar with, that it's actually beneficial. And there's a lot of people that need your help with that. Hence the coaches, consultants, and advisors. So I would say for myself, we're dropping a project. I'm at the right time. We'll come out, we'll talk about it, but we have something pretty amazing coming out. And it all goes into inspiration to inspire thousands of people in 2023, which we're already on track to do. And it really comes down to those people that are sitting on their hands, right? So mine, do the right thing the right way with the right people. Money's always going to be a byproduct, because nobody that has the right sense or the right mindset is going to ask you to build or do something for free. So I recommend today you go out, make it a point to get on your social media, make it a point to get on a phone call, right? Provide value, pour into somebody. And at the end of that conversation, at the end of that call, let them know exactly who you are, exactly what you do, and the price to the value that you provide. So next time they circle the block and they want to do that Zoom call with you, they know exactly what it's going to cost. So it's all about inspiration, pour into other people, right? Move the rock, and let's get it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very, very true. Yeah, I love what he's saying as far as just, stay inspired and stay desperate. That is a huge takeaway, is have both ingredients to make your success pie. I'm looking forward to next week, where we are going to be talking about something very real for me: taking massive action. You can do all the right things, you can say all the right things, but until you get out there and you do something, it's not going to change. You must put action with everything. We have time for one more. Does anybody want to volunteer? Or all right, Greg, good morning, buddy. Greg, somebody else that I just recently met. It's a pleasure to have you on here. So Greg, inspiration or desperation?
Okay. Basically, I've been listening to you guys, and I just had to come on and say that I deal with both inspiration and desperation. As y'all can see, my skin color, I'm black. Being an oppressed people, we live in desperation a lot, and we draw inspiration from our desperation. But one thing that I wanted to say was inspiration and desperation comes from either the dark or the light. So anytime that you're in the dark with the inspiration, you want to make sure that it's going to be okay with the light. If it's not okay with the light, it's time to leave the dark alone and move towards the light. We really need to make sure that we're drawing inspiration from the Bible, because everything we need to succeed is right in there. I don't know if anybody's Christian or not, but I just put it right out there. We really need to just follow that. Whatever desperation mode that's in the dark will come into the light for inspiration. That's it.
Love it. Love it. Very, very well said. And we had a comment in the chat. Love your pops. Very insightful. That's from Ken. And Dean said, desperation creates a story. The story that creates inspiration. We have a couple more minutes before we hop off here, so let us hear from you in the comments below. Also, head on over to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/@JonathanOfficial and subscribe to my verified YouTube page. But hey, Dean, elaborate a little bit on what you just put in the comments. What does that mean to you? Desperation creates a story. The story then creates the inspiration.
Well, like everyone's talking about, you need both, right? You can't inspire until you inspired yourself. So people are trying to get out there and try to inspire people, but they've never been there. So you can't inspire somebody unless you've been in that position. So the story I say that, and here's a funny thing here, like your dad said earlier, your dad was dead on. Desperation is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. I love desperation, because you know what? It's people look at it and go, oh, it's a bad thing, but it's not. If you use it in the good way to help you push you to the next story, because I would say desperation is where the journey starts. It's what you choose to do with that is where people where they get into that victim or victor role. So you can sit there in desperation and go, oh shit, I'm messed up, or I'm screwed up, right? Excuse me, I'll keep this PG because my son is right here too. But
Good morning, Kai.
And so. And it's you can look at it as the glass half full or the glass half empty. You choose. So the story is what creates your inspiration. At the end of the day, people want to get inspired by your story. They don't give a crap about you getting on stage and talking about that you haven't done it. They want to know where you've come from. That's what makes you real. So at the end of the day, it's like, listen, I hate those guys who get up there and try to inspire you, but had never been there. They've never been homeless. They've never lost their money. They've never been broke yet, but yet they're claiming they made all this money. They haven't made crap. That's my, show me someone that's real, who's been there, like yourself, Jonathan, like Cullen. You know, we've been in the grinds. We are now. Some of us are in the grinds now. You know what? It's not always going to be pretty, but the problem is, though, I would say that every test has a testimony. So that's where I love it. And that's where it comes amazing. That's why I said here is that enjoy the story. The desperation is going to create the story to create who you are and who you become. And that's what I was mentioned by that.
Love it. Love it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for everybody that's watching the replay. Make sure to leave your comments, like the video, share it with a friend too, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jonathan Ellis Official. And we look forward to seeing you again next week, where we will be talking about something very, very exciting. Take massive action. Look, it requires not little action. Take massive action to get where you want to be. Takes big steps. Have a great week. Enjoy the first week of your year, and we will see you back here next week for more exciting, thought-provoking change.